So I've been thinking a business model. If you're trying to make money, by the way, if you're watching this video as well as any of my other videos, I'm not a money expert. I'm not a millionaire. I'm not a financial advisor. So just letting you know. So back to the video. So um, business models. Business models. The best way, from my experience, to earn money without having to do complex mathematical equations and being able to see quite vividly the profit margins that you're going to be making based on what you're selling. The best way to do that is to get involved in very simple, very easily understandable business models. Coca-Cola, for example, Warren Buffett always uses the example of Coca-Cola, which is a very simple business model. Um, it's a very sugary drink, very sugary flavored syrup flavored drink, and they it's very cheap. The overheads to create the actual product is very low, very cheap to make. I think it's like 2p per can. They sell a lot. They have a very big brand. Lots of people know them. They use the brand to sell the product. It's very simple. And the profit margins are pretty clear. There is maths applicable, but the business model in and of itself is very simple to understand. So there's many different other, like for example, tech firms, social media platforms, social media companies. Those type of stocks are a lot harder to understand because there's loads of different ways that they make money. There's loads of different revenue streams that they have, for example, which is a good thing, but it can also be quite confusing as well. For example, if you have if you have a tech firm which has to reach a certain amount of reach, or has to be used by a certain amount of people to be able to start generating revenue based on advertisements. There's different complications that could make the revenue stream for that business very volatile. Coca-Cola, for example, has a very steady revenue stream because it's been around for a long time. Loads of people know what it is. It's not a complex product. It's just a sugary drink. You know what it is. Lots of people, almost everyone has tasted it, and almost everyone that has tasted it will buy it again because they already know what to expect. It's the same thing with McDonald's. Everywhere you go, the McDonald's, the food is almost exactly the same, and that was their point when they allow franchisees to use their brand, they have to make sure that they train to make the food exactly the same, because if they taste differently in another country or in another place, then it's not McDonald's. It's a McDonald's it has the McDonald's name, but it's not the same. It's not the same product. Anyway, back to the main point. Simple business models. So with the eBay, for example, it's just an example. If you're an eBay trader, um, the best thing to do with eBay is to invest in something with lower overheads, preferably zero overheads. The reason why is because if you're buying something which has overheads, then you have to calculate what the exact value of that product is, and it may seem simple to do, but it's actually not as simple as you think with some products. So you have to first calculate what the actual market value of that product is, and it becomes even more complex if if you're selling a variety of products. The best thing I've seen on eBay, I've seen a lot of sellers that have very high and very strong customer feedback, and I've seen the products that they sell, and a few of those, I would say more than 50% of the sellers I've seen with strong feedback and high feedback level numbers specialize in one product or one type of product. They don't branch out into, they don't sell everything. They just branch out into one product. So the best thing to do, I would say, is to specialize in one thing instead of confusing yourself and trying to do everything. It's just it makes things more complex than it needs to be. So that's another thing that makes business models a lot more simple. And yeah, apart from that, it just makes things easier. Growth becomes a lot easier when things are simple. If your business model is based on A plus B equals C, instead of A plus B minus C multiplied by A. This is just a really weird example, but you get the point. It just becomes really complex for you, and this isn't necessarily being advising that you be lazy. It's just in order to get to the goal, which is to create a sustainable business, a long-term business, the best thing to do is to make things as simple as possible instead of complicating things, because you're just going to slow yourself down, and you can't exactly use the leverage of growth. You can't exactly use leverage as efficiently to grow the business as well. If you if you were doing things simple than if you were doing things in a complex way. So yeah, that's pretty much the aim of this video.